When most people think of Portugal, the first images that pop into their heads are golden beaches, Cristiano Ronaldo scoring goals that defy physics, or a pastel de nata, those heavenly little custard tarts that make you question all your life choices. But here's what you probably don't picture. Tanks rolling across training grounds, warships patrolling the Atlantic, fighter jets roaring overhead, or cyber warriors preparing for digital battles. That's right, behind the sunshine, soccer, and seafood lies a military that most people underestimate. Portugal may be small compared to the US or China, but it has carved out a role as one of Europe's most reliable and quietly capable military forces. Today, we're breaking down exactly why Portugal's military is a lot stronger and a lot cooler than you might expect. From centuries-old naval traditions to modern cyber defenses, from NATO missions in the Arctic to high-tech Leopard tanks, Portugal's armed forces are doing much more than sipping coffee by the sea. So, grab your espresso, maybe a pastel de nata or two, and let's dive into why Portugal's military is punching well above its weight. Chapter 1. The Backbone. Portugal's Army. Let's start on land. Portugal's army, known as the Exército Português, isn't the biggest in Europe, far from it. But what it lacks in numbers, it makes up for in specialization, adaptability, and professionalism. This is an army built for variety. One day, Portuguese troops could be training in jungle environments. Yes, actual jungle training thanks to partnerships abroad. The next, they're drilling for mountain warfare. And after that, they're on peacekeeping duty in Africa or Eastern Europe. The backbone of the army includes light infantry brigades that can deploy quickly, armored units, including the powerful Leopard 2A6 tanks, basically the Ferraris of the tank world minus the speeding tickets, artillery units with modern howitzers and anti-air systems, and, of course, special forces like the elite Rangers and Commandos, trained to operate in the toughest conditions imaginable. The Portuguese army is like a Swiss army knife, compact, versatile, and always handy. And when NATO calls, they answer. Chapter 2. Masters of the Sea. Portugal's Navy. If there's one area where Portugal shines, it's the water. And that shouldn't surprise anyone. This is the country that gave the world explorers like Vasco da Gama and Ferdinand Magellan. Their ancestors discovered sea routes, mapped continents, and basically kick-started globalization. Fast forward to today, and the Marinha Portuguesa, Portugal's Navy, is still carrying that maritime legacy. The Navy operates frigates armed with missiles and modern sensors, submarines capable of stealth missions in the Atlantic, patrol boats designed to guard Portugal's massive maritime zone, plus amphibious ships for transporting troops and equipment. And here's the thing. Portugal's maritime responsibilities are massive. Because of the Azores and Madeira, Portugal controls one of the largest exclusive economic zones in Europe, over 1.7 million square kilometers of ocean. That's more than 20 times the size of mainland Portugal itself. So yeah, this navy isn't optional, it's essential. And let's be honest, if your ancestors once ruled the seas, you're not going to settle for rusty boats today. Portugal's navy is modern, professional, and still a source of national pride. Chapter 3. Eyes in the Sky, Portugal's Air Force. Now let's look upward. The Força Aérea Portuguesa, or Portuguese Air Force, may not have hundreds of jets like the US or China, but it makes the most of its compact, lethal fleet. At the heart of the Air Force are its F-16 Fighting Falcons. These jets handle everything from air defense to NATO air policing missions. Portugal also has transport aircraft, helicopters for search and rescue, and advanced training aircraft to prepare the next generation of pilots. What makes the Air Force especially important is its strategic geography. With bases in Lisbon, Montreal, the Azores, and Madeira, Portugal can project air power across the Atlantic. That's a huge deal for NATO, because the Azores sit right in the middle of the ocean, acting as a perfect forward base for transatlantic operations. And yes, Portuguese pilots are known for being sharp, disciplined, and occasionally stylish. Imagine defending the skies while also having opinions on the perfect espresso. Chapter 4. Numbers versus capability. Let's talk numbers. Portugal's military may only have around 30,000 active personnel with roughly 200,000 in reserve, which sounds small compared to giants like the US, with over 1 million active troops. But size isn't everything. Portugal focuses on precision, professionalism, and versatility. Every soldier is trained for multiple roles, whether that's peacekeeping in distant regions, maritime security in the Atlantic, or rapid response to natural disasters at home. Their ability to adapt quickly is what sets them apart. Think of it like a boutique tech startup versus a massive corporation. The startup might be smaller, but it can innovate faster, react faster, and deliver results with surgical precision. Portugal's armed forces work the same way. Small but elite. Lean but incredibly capable. Fewer troops doesn't mean less influence. With well-trained personnel, modern equipment, and strong international partnerships, Portugal proves that quality often outweighs quantity, making every mission count and ensuring they punch well above their weight on the global stage. Chapter 5. Modernization, the military makeover. Portugal's armed forces aren't living in the past, they're stepping boldly into the future. A multi-billion euro modernization plan is underway, stretching well into the 2030s, and it's transforming both hardware and personnel. On the ground, Leopard 2A6 tanks bring heavy firepower to armored units, while Pandor 2 vehicles provide amphibious mobility and versatility. Think rugged off-road SUVs built for combat. Artillery systems are being upgraded, drones are rolling out, and advanced air defense platforms now protect Portuguese skies with precision. But modernization isn't just about metal and machines. Portugal is investing heavily in cybersecurity and space capabilities, ensuring the military can operate across digital networks and orbital domains. Today's conflicts aren't only fought on land, sea, or air. The battlefield includes satellites, networks, and electronic warfare, and Portugal is preparing for all of it. And let's not forget the human element. Troops are receiving enhanced training, improved facilities, and upgraded living conditions from barracks to ships. After all, a Portuguese sailor patrolling the Atlantic deserves a good espresso to keep morale high while keeping watch. The result? A small but modern, agile, and highly capable force ready for 21st century challenges, proving that even a nation with limited manpower can project power, protect its interests, and contribute meaningfully to global security. Chapter 6. Portugal on the world stage. Portugal might be small on the map, but its military presence is anything but. Portuguese troops regularly deploy for NATO peacekeeping missions in Kosovo, keeping stability in a historically tense region. Off the coast of East Africa, they run anti-piracy patrols near Somalia, safeguarding some of the world's busiest shipping lanes. In the north, Portuguese fighter jets conduct air policing over Iceland, securing airspace far from home soil. And when crises strike, be it natural disasters, humanitarian emergencies, or conflict zones, Portugal responds swiftly, shifting from sun-scorched deserts to icy tundras with equal precision. This remarkable versatility and readiness is what makes Portugal a quietly indispensable ally in NATO operations worldwide. Chapter 7. Peace, Reputation, and Soft Power. Here's the twist. Portugal doesn't rely on intimidation to make its mark. Even with a modern and capable military, the nation consistently ranks among the world's most peaceful countries. Its strategy isn't about flexing muscle. It's about stability, cooperation, and diplomacy. Portuguese forces are as skilled at conflict resolution as they are at combat. On peacekeeping missions, humanitarian operations, and international exercises, they don't just execute orders, they build trust and earn respect. Whether in Kosovo, off the Horn of Africa, or responding to natural disasters, Portugal demonstrates that a small country can have an outsized impact through professionalism and reliability. Think of Portugal as the ideal partner in any alliance. Calm, dependable, and quietly effective. They're the neighbor who never stirs trouble, always helps when called upon, and maybe invites the whole block over for grilled sardines and a glass of Vinho Verde. Their true strength is in soft power, the ability to influence, stabilize, and protect without firing a single shot. In a world where military might often dominates headlines, Portugal proves that influence, reputation, and trust can be just as powerful as tanks and jets. On the global stage, this small nation quietly punches far above its weight, shaping outcomes and supporting allies without ever losing its peaceful identity. Chapter 8. Women, Bases, and Geography. Portugal has long been a pioneer in military inclusion, fully integrating women across all branches, from fighter pilots to Marines. Today, female personnel are a visible and respected part of the armed forces, reflecting both progress and national pride. Geography adds another layer to Portugal's strategic strength. Military bases aren't limited to the mainland. Madeira and the Azores extend reach across the Atlantic, allowing Portugal to monitor vast sea lanes and support NATO operations far beyond Europe. This unique positioning makes Portugal a vital link in transatlantic security, demonstrating that size isn't everything when it comes to influence. So, what's the takeaway? Portugal's military isn't the biggest, and it doesn't try to be. Instead, it focuses on being professional, adaptable, and modern. It's a force that can guard its coasts, defend its skies, support NATO, and still show up to global missions with reliability. And maybe a thermos of espresso. Portugal proves that in today's world, military strength isn't just about size, it's about capability, adaptability, and credibility. And Portugal has all three. So next time you think of Portugal, don't just picture beaches and Ronaldo's free kicks. Remember the frigates in the Atlantic, the F-16s in the skies, and the tanks rolling across training fields. Because Portugal's military? It's one of Europe's best kept secrets, and it's time the world started paying attention.